The call came on December 18th, while I was in a board meeting discussing our Q4 projections. I let it go to voicemail. When the meeting ended at 4:30 p.m., I saw 3 missed calls from my younger sister, Rachel, and a text that read, "Call me about Christmas." I stepped into my corner office, 14th floor of Boston Medical Center's research tower, and called back. Finally, Rachel answered, irritation sharp in her voice. "I've been trying to reach you for hours. I was in a board meeting." "What's going on?" "It's about Christmas Eve, Mom and Dad's annual party." She paused. "We need you to skip it this year." I set down my coffee. "Excuse me. Look, don't make this a big thing. It's just my boyfriend is coming. Dr. Marcus Chen. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon at Mass General, and he's kind of a big deal. He's being considered for department head. And I've told him about our family, about how successful we all are. Dad's accounting firm, Mom's interior design business, me working in pharmaceutical sales." She trailed off. "But not about me. Natalie, come on. You know how it is. You're 34, still single, living in that tiny apartment, working some hospital job we don't really understand. Marcus comes from a family of doctors and academics. If he meets you and realizes you're, well, struggling, it's going to raise questions about our family." I looked at the wall across from my desk at the framed Fortune magazine cover, "The Future of Healthcare Technology." Meet Dr. Natalie Morrison, 32, whose AI platform is saving lives. At the Incorporated Magazine Innovator of the Year Award. At my credentials, MD from Johns Hopkins, MBA from Wharton, PhD in biomedical engineering from MIT. "What exactly did you tell Marcus about me?" I asked quietly. "I said you work at a hospital in an administrative role. Which is technically true, right? You do work at BMC. Rachel, please not. This is important to me. Marcus is the one. I can feel it. His family is hosting us for New Year's and I need everything to be perfect before then. Having you at Christmas with Mom asking you those pitying questions about your job and Dad making awkward comments about you still renting, it would ruin the image I've built." I heard rustling on the line, then my mother's voice joined. "Natalie, honey," Rachel put me on speaker. "Your father's here too." "Great." Mom's tone turned pleading. "Sweetheart, we're not trying to hurt you. We just want Rachel to have her moment. You understand, don't you? She's finally found someone wonderful and we don't want anything to complicate things." "By anything, you mean me." "That's not what we're saying," Dad interjected. "We're just thinking about first impressions. Marcus is very accomplished and Rachel wants to present our family in the best light. Maybe it's better if you sit this one out just this year. We'll do something special together after the holidays, just the 4 of us." I closed my eyes. "So, you're all agreeing that I'm too embarrassing to attend my own family's Christmas." "Don't be dramatic," Rachel snapped. "We're trying to be practical. You've always been the sensitive one making everything about you." I said okay. Silence. And you're okay with this?" Mom sounded surprised. "You've made your position clear. I won't attend Christmas Eve. Is there anything else?" "Well, so thank you for understanding, sweetheart. We'll make it up to you, I promise." I hung up without responding. My assistant David knocked and poked his head in. "Dr. Morrison." "Dr. Chen from Mass General just confirmed his consultation appointment for the 27th. He's evaluating our cardiac monitoring AI for his department." I looked up sharply. "Dr. Marcus Chen, cardiothoracic surgery." David checked his tablet. "That's him. Apparently, he heard about our platform at the American Heart Association conference and wants to see a demo. The chief specifically requested you handle this one personally. Says Chen could bring the entire Mass General cardiac program into our client base." My hands were steady as I opened my calendar. "What time?" 2 p.m. on December 27th. "I've blocked your afternoon." "Perfect. Thank you, David." After he left, I pulled up Dr. Marcus Chen's profile. Harvard Medical School. Top of his class. Cardiothoracic surgery residency at Johns Hopkins. Published extensively on minimally invasive cardiac procedures. Currently being considered for chief of cardiothoracic surgery at Mass General at age 37. Impressive credentials. He had no idea he was dating the sister of the woman whose technology he was coming to evaluate. The woman his girlfriend had deemed too embarrassing to meet. Growing up, I was always the weird one. Rachel was 2 years younger, bubbly and social. The daughter who brought home cheerleading trophies and prom queen crowns. She'd majored in communications, went into pharmaceutical sales, made a comfortable living, and lived in a trendy apartment in Cambridge that our parents helped her afford. I'd been the awkward kid who spent weekends in the library, who got a full scholarship to MIT at 16, who graduated with a triple major at 19. While Rachel was pledging sororities, I was publishing research papers. While she was dating football players, I was in medical school. My parents had never quite known what to do with me. "You're so serious all the time," Mom would say. "Can't you just relax and enjoy life like your sister?" Dad's version, "Not everyone needs 3 degrees, Natalie. Sometimes you need to know when enough is enough." I'd completed my MD at Johns Hopkins at 24, then a PhD in biomedical engineering at MIT, then an MBA at Wharton while working as a trauma surgeon at Boston Medical Center. At 28, I'd burned out completely. I'd been in the ER for 36 hours straight when I lost a patient, a 15-year-old girl with an undetected cardiac arrhythmia. Her EKG had looked normal. By the time we realized something was wrong, it was too late. I'd sat in the break room at 4 a.m., staring at her chart thinking, there has to be a better way. That's when I started building CareLink AI. The concept was simple: an artificial intelligence platform that continuously monitored patient vitals, recognized subtle patterns that humans missed, and predicted complications before they became catastrophic. The execution was brutally complex. Algorithms, machine learning, clinical trials, FDA approval, hospital integration. I'd used my savings, $400,000 from surgical work and smart investments, to build the first prototype. 18 months later, we had our first client, a small community hospital in Vermont. Within 3 years, we had 60 hospitals across 12 states. Within 5 years, we'd prevented over 2,400 documented patient deaths. Last year's revenue, $180 million. Current company valuation, $3.2 billion. I own 68% of it. Forbes had called me the surgeon who's saving more lives outside the OR than she ever could inside it. Fortune had profiled our AI platform as the future of preventive healthcare. The New England Journal of Medicine had published our outcomes data showing a 34% reduction in unexpected patient mortality at hospitals using our system. My family had no idea. When they asked about my work, I said, I work in healthcare technology at BMC, and changed the subject. When they saw my modest 2-bedroom apartment in Jamaica Plain, I didn't mention the $6.2 million penthouse I owned in Back Bay as an investment. When they assumed I was struggling financially, I didn't correct them. I wasn't hiding out of shame. I was conducting an experiment. Would they value me without the validation of success? Would they treat me with respect when they thought I was ordinary? The answer apparently was no. The week after Rachel's call, I threw myself into preparing for the Marcus Chin consultation. He's bringing his department head and 2 attending physicians. David informed me during our prep meeting. They want to see live demos, case studies, and integration timelines. Mass General would be our biggest client to date. 43 surgeons, 200 residents, nearly 1,000 beds. What's Chin's specific interest? Cardiac monitoring for postoperative patients. He's concerned about sudden complications in the first 72 hours after surgery. Wants to know if our AI can predict events like tamponade, arrhythmia, or pulmonary embolism before they become critical. I smiled. We have documented cases from Stanford and Mayo Clinic. Pull those files. The irony wasn't lost on me. Marcus Chin wanted technology to save his patients' lives. My technology, built by the woman his girlfriend considered too unsuccessful to meet. On December 23rd, Rachel posted photos from her Christmas shopping trip on Instagram. Designer bags, expensive restaurants, captions about treating myself before the big family celebration. On December 24th, Christmas Eve, she posted photos from my parents' party. Rachel in a red cocktail dress next to a handsome man in a tailored suit. Caption, introducing my brilliant surgeon to the family. Best Christmas ever. Christmas tree red heart. The comments poured in. Aunts and cousins gushing about what a perfect couple they made. Friends congratulating Rachel on finally finding someone at her level. I screenshot every single post for my records. That evening, while my family celebrated without me, I had Christmas dinner with my executive team and their families. My CTO, Dr. James Rodriguez, had invited me to his home in Brookline. His wife made arroz con polo. His 3 kids showed me their science fair projects. We talked about the future of predictive medicine, about dreams of preventing death before it happened. about building something that mattered. It was the best Christmas I'd had in years. December 27th arrived cold and bright. I got to my office at 6 a.m. reviewing every detail of the presentation. Our conference room on the 14th floor had a view of the Boston skyline. I'd arranged for our head of clinical integration to present case studies, our chief medical officer to discuss outcomes data, and our chief technology officer to demonstrate the AI platform live. But I'd insisted on doing the introduction personally. At 1:45 p.m., David knocked. "Dr. Morrison, the Mass General team is here. Dr. Chen, Dr. Patricia Williams, she's the chief of surgery and 2 attending physicians. Send them to conference room A. I'll meet them there in 5 minutes." I straightened my white coat, checked that my credentials were visible on the wall, MD, PhD, MBA, and walked to the conference room. Through the glass wall, I could see them. Dr. Williams, a distinguished woman in her 60s, 2 younger attendings both taking notes, and Marcus Chen, tall and confident in scrubs and a white coat, gesturing animatedly as he explained something. He looked exactly like his photos. Handsome, polished, the kind of person who'd never been told no. I pushed open the door. "Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Natalie Morrison, founder and CEO of CareLink AI. Welcome to Boston Medical Center." Dr. Williams stood immediately, extending her hand. "Dr. Morrison, it's an honor. I've been following your work for 2 years. The mortality reduction data from your Stanford trial was extraordinary. Thank you. We're excited to discuss how CareLink could benefit Mass General's patients." I shook hands with the 2 attendings, then turned to Marcus. He was staring at me, hand extended, his expression polite but slightly puzzled. "Dr. Chen," I said, gripping his hand firmly. "Welcome. I understand you're particularly interested in postoperative cardiac monitoring." Yes. Thank you for meeting with us, Dr. Morrison." His voice was uncertain, like he was trying to place me. We sat. I gestured to the screen behind me, where our company logo appeared. CareLink AI. With our tagline predicting complications, saving lives. Before we begin the technical presentation, let me give you some context about CareLink's development. I spoke for 10 minutes about my background. Trauma surgeon turned engineer, the patient I'd lost, the technology I'd built in response. I showed them our FDA approval documentation, our clinical trial results, our client hospitals. Marcus was taking notes, but I caught him glancing at me repeatedly, his expression growing more confused. Then Dr. Williams said something that changed everything. "Dr. Morrison, I have to ask. I thought I read somewhere that you have family in Boston. Is that right?" "I do. My parents live in Newton, and my younger sister lives in Cambridge." "What does she do?" "Pharmaceutical sales." Marcus's pen stopped moving. "Pharmaceutical sales," he repeated slowly. "Your sister works in pharmaceutical sales." "That's correct." He set down his pen, his face had gone pale. What's your sister's name?" I met his eyes directly. "Rachel Morrison." The room went absolutely silent. Marcus stood up so abruptly his chair rolled backwards. You're Rachel's sister." "Rachel's sister?" "Natalie." "I am. But she said you worked in hospital administration. Some entry-level position. She said you were." He couldn't finish the sentence. Dr. Williams looked between us confused. "Is there a problem?" Marcus's voice came out strangled. "Rachel is my girlfriend. I met her family on Christmas Eve. She told me she had a sister who wasn't attending because she had to work. She said you worked in a low-level hospital job and weren't really part of the family success story." The 2 attending physicians shifted uncomfortably. I kept my voice professional. "I see. Dr. Chen, I want to assure you that your relationship with my sister has no bearing on this consultation. You're here to evaluate technology that could benefit your patients. That's all that matters. You're the CEO," he said faintly. "You founded this company. You're the woman on the Fortune magazine cover." "I am." Rachel said she told me you were struggling, that you lived in a tiny apartment and worked some job nobody in the family understood. That's why you weren't at Christmas. She said having you there would give you the wrong impression of her family. I finished. "Yes, I'm aware of her reasoning." Dr. Williams cleared her throat. "Perhaps we should reschedule this meeting." "That won't be necessary," I said calmly. "Dr. Chen, I understand this is awkward, but you came here to evaluate whether CareLink AI can help your postoperative cardiac patients. Can we focus on that?" Marcus sank back into his chair. His hands were shaking. I need to call Rachel. You can call her after the meeting. Right now, I have 3 of Mass General's top physicians in this room, and I'd like to show you technology that could save lives. Unless you'd prefer to leave. He stared at me, then at Dr. Williams, then back at me. No, he said finally. No, I want to see the presentation. For the next 90 minutes, I walked them through everything. Case studies showing our AI predicting cardiac tamponade 47 minutes before clinical symptoms appeared. Data from Mayo Clinic demonstrating a 41% reduction in postoperative pulmonary embolisms. Live demonstrations of our platform identifying subtle arrhythmias that wouldn't be caught until the next scheduled EKG. Marcus asked sharp, intelligent questions. He was a good doctor. I could see that. He cared about his patients, understood the technology, recognized its potential. But every few minutes, his eyes would drift to the wall behind me, where the Fortune magazine cover hung in a frame. My face, younger but unmistakable with the headline, Healthcare Tech CEO of the Year. The surgeon who built an AI to save lives. When the presentation ended, Dr. Williams was beaming. This is exactly what we need. Dr. Morrison, I'd like to move forward with a pilot program immediately. 40 beds in our cardiac ICU. 3-month trial. With the goal of full integration if outcomes match your data. We can have a proposal to you by Friday. Excellent. She stood, shaking my hand warmly. This has been one of the most impressive presentations I've seen. Your parents must be incredibly proud. The room temperature dropped 10 degrees. I smiled politely. I'm sure they would be if they knew what I did for a living. Dr. Williams blinked. They don't know. It's complicated. Family dynamics often are. I turned to Marcus. Dr. Chen, thank you for bringing this opportunity to us. I look forward to working with Mass General. He stood, his face a mixture of shock, shame, and something else I couldn't identify. Dr. Morrison, I need to. Could we speak privately? Just for a moment. I glanced at Dr. Williams. She nodded and ushered the other attendings out, murmuring about giving us a moment. When the door closed, Marcus turned to me, his composure cracking. I need to understand what's happening. Rachel specifically told me you weren't at Christmas because you'd be embarrassed. That you worked some low-level job and she was protecting you from meeting me because my family is accomplished and it would make you feel bad about yourself. Is that what she told you? Yes. And now I find out you're a Fortune 500 CEO with 3 degrees and a company worth billions. That you've saved thousands of lives. What the hell is going on? I leaned against my desk. Marcus, what's going on is that my sister decided I was an embarrassment to her. That having you meet me would ruin the image she'd built of our family being successful. She asked me to skip Christmas and I agreed. But you're more successful than anyone in your family. I'm aware. Then why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you tell any of them? I met his eyes. Because I wanted to see if they'd value me without the success. If they treat me with basic decency when they thought I was ordinary. And they showed me they wouldn't. Marcus sank into a chair. Oh my God. For the record, Marcus, I don't hold this against you. You trusted your girlfriend's description of her family. That's reasonable. But you should probably ask yourself why she felt the need to lie about her own sister. His phone started buzzing. He pulled it out. It's Rachel. She's calling over and over. You should answer. I'm sure she's seen the Mass General calendar and realized where you are right now. He stared at his phone, then at me. What should I tell her? The truth. That you met her sister. That her sister is not what she described. And that you have some serious questions about why she lied to you. She's going to lose her mind. Probably. He stood running his hands through his hair. Dr. Morrison. Natalie. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I should have questioned why you weren't at Christmas. I should have insisted on meeting you. I let Rachel control the narrative, and that was wrong. Marcus, you seem like a good man and a good doctor. But you're dating someone who asked me to skip a family holiday because my existence would damage her image. That's something you need to think about. He nodded slowly. I will. And regardless of what happens with Rachel, I meant what I said in there. Your technology is incredible. Mass General needs this. Then we'll work together professionally. What happens with my family is irrelevant. He left, phone still buzzing in his hand. I made it exactly 40 minutes before my own phone exploded. Rachel's name flashed across the screen. I let it ring through to voicemail. She called again immediately. Then again, On the fourth call, I answered. What did you do? Her scream was so loud I had to pull the phone away from my ear. Hello, Rachel. Don't hello, Rachel to me. Marcus just left your office completely freaked out. He's saying you're some CEO. That you founded a company. That you're on magazine covers. What the hell is happening? Marcus came to evaluate my company's AI platform for Mass General. It was a productive meeting. Your company? Natalie, stop playing games. You work in hospital administration. No, Rachel. I founded and run a healthcare technology company. We provide AI-powered patient monitoring to hospitals. Current annual revenue is $180 million. We employ 312 people. Last month, Goldman Sachs valued us at $3.2 billion. Silence. Then, that's not possible. You live in a crappy apartment. You never have money. You work some boring hospital job. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment in Jamaica Plain because I like the neighborhood. I also own a penthouse in Back Bay worth $6.2 million. I never have money around you because I've watched you borrow from mom and dad for years and never pay it back. And I do work at a hospital, Boston Medical Center, where my company is headquartered. You're lying. I'm not. Google Stern and Natalie Morrison CareLink AI and see for yourself. I heard typing, then a sharp intake of breath. Oh my God. It's true, there are articles, Forbes, Fortune, you're on a magazine cover. Several. Actually, why didn't you tell us? Her voice had shifted from anger to something closer to panic. You never asked, Rachel. You decided I was a failure and treated me accordingly. I let you because I wanted to see how you'd treat me when you thought I wasn't successful. That's insane. That's manipulative. Is it? Tell me, Rachel, if you'd known I ran a multi-billion-dollar company, would you have uninvited me from Christmas? Silence. That's what I thought. You sabotaged my relationship. You deliberately met with Marcus to humiliate me. Marcus requested a consultation 6 weeks ago, long before I knew he was your boyfriend. I had no idea who he was until his name appeared on my calendar. Unlike you, I don't structure my life around family drama. He's furious with me. He's questioning everything I told him about our family. Maybe you shouldn't have lied to him. I didn't lie. I presented things in a certain way. You do work at a hospital. You do live in a modest apartment. Those aren't lies. You told him I was too embarrassing to meet. That having me at Christmas would give him the wrong impression of our family. That I was struggling and you were protecting me. Those are lies, Rachel. I heard her breathing heavily. Then Mom's voice in the background. Rachel, what's happening? Let me talk to her. Mom wants to talk to you, Rachel said. Of course she does. There was shuffling, then Mom's voice tight with confusion. Natalie? Rachel is very upset. She says you met Marcus today and told him some story about being a CEO. It's not a story, Mom. I am a CEO. I founded a healthcare technology company 7 years ago. We save lives using artificial intelligence. It's quite successful. Sweetheart, I don't understand. You never mentioned any of this. You never asked. You assumed I was struggling and I let you assume it because I wanted to see how you treat me. That's not fair. We've always supported you. You uninvited me from Christmas because Rachel thought I'd embarrass her boyfriend. You chose her image over my inclusion in my own family. That's not support, Mom. We were trying to help Rachel make a good impression. By hiding me? By presenting your family as successful while excluding the daughter who actually built something? How exactly is that helping anyone? Dad's voice joined in. Natalie, your mother and I are very confused. Rachel showed us these articles about you. They say you're worth billions. Is that true? My company is valued at $3.2 billion. I own 68% of it. So, yes, my stake is worth approximately $2.17 billion on paper. Complete silence. Then Dad, $2 billion? Approximately. And you never thought to mention this to your family? I mentioned it repeatedly, Dad. I told you I was working in healthcare technology. I told you I was building something important. You told me I had too many degrees, that I needed to relax like Rachel, that I was too serious. You decided I was the family failure without ever asking what I'd actually built. We didn't decide you were a failure. You excluded me from Christmas, Dad. Rachel explicitly said having me meet her boyfriend would give the wrong impression because I was struggling. You and Mom agreed. That's deciding I'm a failure. Mom's voice cracked. We made a mistake. Yes. You did. Can we fix this? Dad asked. Can we? Can you come to dinner? We need to talk about this properly. Why? So you can celebrate now that you know I'm successful. So you can tell your friends your daughter is a billionaire? Where was this interest when you thought I was ordinary? That's not fair, Rachel interjected, her voice venomous. You're punishing us for trying to protect my relationship. I'm not punishing anyone, Rachel. I'm running my company. Marcus came to evaluate my technology because he wants to save his patients' lives. The fact that it's inconvenient for you is irrelevant. He's talking about breaking up with me. He says he can't trust someone who lied about their own sister. Then maybe you shouldn't have lied about your own sister. I hate you. The line went dead. 2 minutes later, my phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. I'm sorry about Rachel. For what it's worth, I told her we're done. I can't be with someone who treats family that way. Thank you for your honesty. Looking forward to working together professionally. I replied, I'm sorry it ended that way. You deserve someone who values integrity. I'll have the Mass General proposal ready by Friday. The next morning my parents appeared at my office. David buzzed me. Dr. Morrison, there's a Mr. and Mrs. Morrison here to see you. They don't have an appointment but they're insisting it's urgent. Send them in. My parents walked into my office looking smaller than I remembered. Older. Mom's eyes were red from crying. Dad's face was gray with stress. They both stopped when they saw the space, the harbor view, the awards on the wall, the fortune cover, the credentials. Natalie, Mom whispered. This is really your office? It is. Dad walked to the wall reading my degrees out loud. Doctor of Medicine Johns Hopkins. PhD in Biomedical Engineering, MIT MBA Wharton. He turned to me. When did you do all this? Over the last 15 years. While you were asking when I'd settle down and be normal like Rachel. He flinched. Mom sat down uninvited. Marcus broke up with Rachel last night. She's devastated. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Mom's voice turned sharp. You don't sound sorry. You sound satisfied. I'm sorry Rachel is hurt. I'm not sorry that Marcus realized she lied to him. Those are two different things. She didn't lie. Dad protested. She just didn't have all the information. She had 12 years to ask for information. He chose not to. She chose to assume I was struggling and to treat me accordingly. I leaned back in my chair. Did you come here for a reason? I have a meeting in 20 minutes. We came to apologize, Mom said quietly. We were wrong. About Christmas. About how we've treated you. About everything. Okay. That's it. What do you want me to say, Mom? Thank you for apologizing after you found out I'm successful? Thank you for valuing me now that I'm someone important. That's not fair. Dad's voice rose. We always valued you. You excluded me from a family holiday because Rachel thought I'd embarrass her. You told me to skip Christmas so I wouldn't give her boyfriend the wrong impression. Those are your exact words. I stood up. You valued the idea of a successful family more than you valued me as a person. We made a mistake, Mom pleaded. Can't you forgive us? Eventually, maybe. But not today. Not when you're only here because you found out I'm worth billions. If Marcus hadn't walked into this office, if he hadn't told Rachel who I really am, you'd still think I was the family failure. You'd still be planning future holidays without me to protect Rachel's image. Dad's shoulders sagged. What can we do to fix this? Figure out whether you want a relationship with me as I actually am, or whether you only want a relationship with the successful version that makes you look good. I checked my watch. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. Natalie, David will show you out. They left without another word. That afternoon, I got a text from Rachel. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my relationship and turned Mom and Dad against me. You've always been jealous of me being the favorite, and now you're using your money to punish us all. I didn't respond. 3 days later, Mass General signed a $24 million pilot program contract. Dr. Williams sent a personal note. Dr. Morrison, thank you for your professionalism during what must have been an incredibly awkward situation. Your integrity speaks volumes. Looking forward to saving lives together. New Year's Eve arrived quietly. I spent it with my executive team at a company celebration in our conference room. We toasted our achievements, 2,400 lives saved in the past year, 300 employees supported, 82 hospitals using our technology, At midnight, my phone buzzed. Text from Marcus. Happy New Year, Dr. Morrison. Our pilot program starts Monday. Thank you for giving Mass General this opportunity. Text from Dr. Williams. Thank you for building something that matters. Here's to saving more lives in 2025. Text from Mom. Happy New Year. Sweetheart. Your father and I are still hoping to talk when you're ready. We love you, we're sorry. I stared at Mom's message for a long time. Then I typed, Happy New Year, Mom. I need time, but I'm willing to talk eventually, on my terms. Her response came immediately. Anything you need, we'll wait. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a beginning. On January 2nd, Rachel called. I let it go to voicemail. She didn't leave a message. On January 5th, she sent a text. I'm sorry. Really sorry. Can we talk? I replied. Not yet. Maybe someday. But not yet. On January 8th, the New England Journal of Medicine published our latest outcomes study. The headline, AI platform reduces hospital mortality by 34%, a multi-center analysis. That evening, my parents sent a card to my office. Inside, in Dad's handwriting, we read the article. We're proud of you. We always should have been. We're sorry we didn't ask sooner. Love, Mom and Dad. I put the card on my desk next to the Fortune cover. On January 15th, I had coffee with Marcus at a cafe near BMC. How's the pilot going? I asked. Incredible. We've already caught 3 complications your AI predicted before clinical symptoms appeared. 1 patient would have died if we hadn't intervened when we did. He paused. You're saving lives, Natalie. Real lives. That's why I built it. I wanted to apologize again for not questioning Rachel's story, for agreeing to a Christmas that excluded you. I should have known something was wrong. You trusted your girlfriend. That's normal. I trusted someone who lied about her own sister to make herself look better. That's not normal. He took a sip of coffee. For what it's worth, I told my parents what happened. They were horrified. My mother asked me to invite you to dinner to apologize on behalf of my family for being part of the reason you were excluded. I smiled. That's kind but unnecessary. She insists. She's very traditional about family honor. She feels partially responsible. Tell her I appreciate the gesture. Maybe in a few months. He nodded. Fair enough. As we stood to leave, he said, Rachel reached out last week. Asked if I'd reconsider. What did you say? I said no. I can't be with someone who treats family as disposable when they're inconvenient. That's a character issue, not a misunderstanding. He met my eyes. You deserved better than how they treated you. Thank you for seeing that. Anyone who actually looked would have seen it. After he left, I walked back to my office. The January sun was setting over Boston, painting the harbor in shades of gold and pink. My phone buzzed. Text from David. Dr. Morrison, Johns Hopkins wants to schedule a call. They're interested in implementing CareLink across their entire system. 1,200 beds. I smiled and typed back, schedule it. That night, I sat in my penthouse, the one my family didn't know about, looking out over the city. My city. The city where I'd built something that mattered. My phone buzzed one more time. Text from Mom. I know you need space, but I wanted you to know I told everyone at my book club what you do. Really do. About your company and the lives you've saved. I should have been telling everyone years ago. I should have asked. I'm sorry I didn't. So proud of you. Always have been even when I didn't show it right. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, Thank you, Mom. Let's have coffee next week. Just us. Her response was immediate. I'd love that. I'll be there whenever you say. It wasn't a full reconciliation. The hurt was still too fresh. The betrayal too recent. But it was a door opening slowly. Whether we walked through it together would depend on whether they could learn to value me for who I was, not what I'd achieved. Outside my window, Boston glittered with possibility. Inside my office tomorrow, we'd keep saving lives. And that, more than anything my family could say or do, was enough.